Endorsed Donald Trump for president. Judges and two separate juries have found him liable for rape and for defaming the victim of that rape. How do you square your endorsement of Donald Trump with the testimony we just saw?
Well, I will tell you, I was raped at the age of 16. I didn't come forward because of that judgment and shame that I felt. And it's a shame that you will never feel, George. And I'm not going to sit here on your show and be asked a question meant to shame me about another potential rape victim. I'm not gonna do that.
It's actually not about shaming you. It's a question about Donald Trump.
No, you are shaming me.
Why are you supporting someone who's been found liable for rape?
I just answered your question.
What is the answer?
He was not found guilty in a criminal court of law. It was sexual abuse. It wasn't actually rape, by the way. And E. Jean Carroll joked about all the money she's going to get and made a mockery out of this case.
Well, that repulsive line of questioning from an equally repulsive former Bill Clinton surrogate just cost ABC News millions. We're going to see the outrage among woke leftists over the brutal $1 million settlement, and we're going to find out how it's but the latest in the MAGA faithful rising up and fighting back against a blatantly corrupt legacy media industry. You're going to absolutely love this. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot professor, here to celebrate the dawning of a new golden age that you made possible on November the 5th. So if you want to stay informed on all the latest happenings and the rise of a new conservative age, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Before we dive in here, gang, if you have not yet secured the deed to your home, you need to click on that link below right now and protect yourself and your loved ones. I was absolutely shocked when I found out how easy it is to access the deed to my house, and not just access it, but actually change it. The deed to your home is the only document that proves you own it. But the problem is that the deeds to all our homes are now online, and criminals are free to find your deed, forge your signature, refile as the new owner of your home, take out tons of loans using your home's equity, and then they'll stick you with all the debt. But that's where our good friends over at Home Title Lock come in. Gang, they're amazing. Home Title Lock gives you the peace of mind that the deed to your home's absolutely, completely protected. Click on that link below right now. Use promo code TurleyTalks, and all you got to do is enter your address for your no-obligation home title scan to see if you're already a victim of deed theft. It's a $100 value, absolutely, totally free with my promo code TurleyTalks. So don't wait for the worst to happen, only to regret you didn't do something about it when you could have. Do what I've done. Do what countless patriots have done. Click on that link below right now and secure your home today. The ultra-left-wing ABC News is eating crow as of this week. The executives over at the fledgling news network are being forced to pay upwards of $15 million to President-elect Donald Trump's Presidential Library Fund to bail out their big-mouthed, repulsively woke anchor, George Stephanopoulos, for his outrageously false claim that Trump had been found liable for raping E. Jean Carroll, which, of course, is emphatically not true. A ridiculously biased jury. You would think that would show up in ABC's reporting, but no. A ridiculously biased jury found that Trump had sexually abused and defamed E. Jean Carroll, in a radically bizarre decision that, of course, Trump is appealing. But regardless, Trump was never convicted of rape. And Stephanopoulos, who obviously did not heed the first rule of what not to do when one finds oneself in a hole, repeated the claim 10 times in that interview with Representative Nancy Mace. It was beyond absurd. And of course, what makes it even more bizarre is that Stephanopoulos originally made his name by publicly smearing all of Bill Clinton's numerous assault accusers. It's Stephanopoulos who objectively did everything he could to defame the character and the integrity of those women who we now know to be extremely credible witnesses to Bill Clinton's sexual predatorship, like Paula Jones and Juanita Broaddrick and many others. And the Trump team played this brilliantly because, as my namesake Jonathan Turley points out, the settlement came just before ABC and Stephanopoulos were to be called for depositions, which, if I recall, included making Stephanopoulos' emails and text messaging public as part of the discovery process. So that discovery was likely to prove extremely revealing and embarrassing in terms of how ABC News conducts itself behind closed doors. The clear far-left bias and deliberate woke messaging would be exposed for all the world to see. Now, I mentioned that this is but the latest in the massive pushback against the corruption of the legacy media. ABC clearly wanted to avoid the disaster that Jake Tapper and CNN are currently going through. They're the subject of a defamation lawsuit that could end up costing the fledgling news network upwards of $1 billion. A Florida Court of Appeals recently ruled that a plaintiff by the name of Zachary Young can indeed pursue punitive damages along with economic and emotional damages in a civil trial against CNN. The lawsuit was brought about in response to Jake Tapper's comments allegedly defaming Zachary Young's efforts to aid individuals in Afghanistan during the botched withdrawal back in 2021. Young is accusing CNN of smearing and defaming his security consulting company by implying it illegally profited when helping people flee Afghanistan. But circling back to ABC News, this is a network that clearly has a pattern of despising MAGA and despising President Trump. And their ratings, frankly, have suffered for it. Remember, back in the presidential debate hosted by David Muir and Lindsey Davis, remember a few months back, they literally ambushed Trump. Everyone saw it. They were the ones who, in the end, ended up debating him, not Kamala. She was just sitting there making those bizarre facial tics. It was patently obvious for all to see how biased the network was against Trump. And this latest absurdity from Stephanopoulos was, frankly, the last straw. And so Trump fought back, and he's won big. Now, if you want to know how huge of a win this was, all you have to do is look at how the wider legacy media and leftist liberals are reacting to this. For example, Eric Deggans of NPR tweeted out, quote, "Wow, feels like one more mainstream news organization bending the knee." Or Sharon Waxman of The Wrap wrote, quote, "This is both confusing and disheartening. Disney and ABC caving to Trump." Caving to Trump? I mean, you have to wonder why these supposed guardians of facts, right, the defenders of objective facticity, why are they so upset over ABC being held accountable for their failure in factual reporting? What's the problem with that? Or are you more about narrative than news? And then, of course, you've got the ultra-Democrat shill Mark Elias writing, quote, "Knee-bent, ring-kissed, another legacy news outlet chooses obedience." How about just being accountable for what you report? Why is that so hard? Isn't it interesting how the left is never accountable, or at least leftists think they're never accountable? But then again, if you're all about narrative rather than news, then obviously you're going to be upset with this apology and payout, since that's not part of the narrative. Now, the good news, besides all the winning, besides the beauty of ABC now having to pay millions for the Trump library, let the irony of that hit you, but the good news is that this fighting back against a patently and obviously corrupt legacy media that specializes in ultra-left-wing narratives rather than objective news, this backlash only serves to further galvanize, to further rally and unify the MAGA Patriot base like very few things can. Lawsuits against CNN and ABC are seen by Trump's base as one of the means by which patriots are fighting back. And there's no losing in this effort. Even if they were to formally lose, even if the case were to be tossed, it's just further evidence that the system is corrupt. The establishment, the permanent political class, particularly the legacy media, is never held accountable for any of their wrongdoing. You see, there's no losing side to this. Nothing galvanizes the MAGA faithful like holding the legacy media accountable for the disparaging partisan nonsense that they routinely publish. Trump and the MAGA movement have won. But as the latest freakout by the woke left demonstrates, we've won far more than just an election.